Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 78 of Two Left Thumbs, your source of weekly gaming news and updates. In this week's episode, we'll be talking about the new PlayStation controller, more Resident Evil is on the way, Crysis potentially coming back, Ghost of Tsushima details, and the Inside Xbox recap. We also have the best weekly deals from a range of publishers from across all gaming platforms. Remember, if you are listening, don't forget to share the podcast around, tell a friend about it, leave a rating, as it really does help us grow. My name is Grey as a Gamer. Join with me tonight, as always, the seducer, the producer, Deaf Puppies. How are you, dude?
Good evening. Evening, almost an afternoon there. It's a day. We're doing a thing.
It's isolation. It's totally fine. You can do all these things. And also this week, we are joined by the one and only DirecktGaming. Mate,
hey, guys.
Welcome to the podcast.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm doing really well, man. Enjoying ISO life as much as possible. So
yeah,
get those games in.
That's it.
Mate, for everyone who does not know you, as we already do know you, can you give us a little about what you do? What do you do in the gaming world?
Absolutely. I have a channel on YouTube, DirecktGaming, as you would assume. I make reviews, impressions, previews, opinion pieces and stuff like that. And I also do a bit of writing for a couple of websites as well. So yeah, that's me.
Nice. I did see your opinion piece the other day for Season Gaming. That's who it is, isn't it?
A new one I got involved with.
You've done well, mate. I actually
Thanks,
I saw your original. Yeah, I saw your original tweet on Twitter, but then I was scrolling through a website that I normally check, N4G. And bam, you were there. Like you're popping up the top, man. It was going off. You're getting a lot of people involved and talking about it, which is fucking awesome, man.
Yeah, that's very exciting.
For your first piece. Your first piece.
Well, for that website, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It was exciting when Ainsley, the guy who runs the site, sent the M4G kind of splash page to me. I was like, what the hell? Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
So that was sick. Yeah. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, that's cool, man. That's cool. Give us a little information, mate. Tell us about yourself.
Sure. I work in tech/retail. I'm currently not working at the moment, just at home. But thankfully still in a job, which is awesome.
Millions of us.
Yeah, exactly. Thankfully I'm one of the lucky ones who still has a job and still is getting paid, which is nice. Other than that, yeah, I make a bit of music on the side. I've been a musician my whole life. And yeah, just trying to get into the whole content creation thing. It's my passion. So yeah.
What instrument?
Mainly like keys, piano, but I play a bit of guitar, a bit of everything, but make electronic music. So
if I gave you $5, could you play the Final Fantasy VII theme song to me on a piano?
If you also sent me the notation for it. I can't read music, but just let me know what key it's in and I'll try and work it out for you.
That would be a negative. I would not know what that is.
You know what? I would do it for free though. So.
For my hard $5, I would expect perfection. Mate, how'd you get into YouTube?
Okay, well, like I watch a lot of it. I don't watch. I don't watch TV at all. I've watched, Netflix and streaming services and stuff. But at some point, I was like, I have opinions about video games, and I listen to everyone else's opinions. So, kind of why not do it myself? I've done a bit of video editing at like uni and stuff a few years back, so I kind of knew the basics there. With the history in music and audio, I have a pretty good knowledge of recording audio, so thought, may as well put my own opinions out there and start my own channel. So yeah, just one day thought, why not? Yeah.
No, it's good. I don't know how I found your channel. I think I found it through Twitter, but you and I pretty much started our channels around the same time. They weren't too far
I think
apart,
so.
I really enjoy your takes on your opinions and reviews on your games.
Thanks, man. Yeah, ditto yourself, man.
Give us a quick, summary or recap of how you review a game, a AAA game.
For sure. I try to I script everything that I put out. So I will play a game to completion, writing notes here and there as I play. and essentially go through. My reviews usually have kind of, you know, subheadings, and I try and cover, you know, the plot and the, you know, the gameplay mechanics. Music is one that I always like to kind of make a focus on because I think it's so important in games.
Yep.
And then, yeah, I always use the music in the reviews to kind of emphasize key points and stuff like that. And then I do, unlike yourself, do scores out of 10. I know it's a bit of a contentious issue with a lot of people, is like, should you give a game a review score? And it is something that I'm continually evolving, like what makes a 9 out of 10 or what makes it 8 out of 10 or whatever. But I like having that kind of quantitative number behind my reviews. So yeah,
that's fine. That's totally fine. I'm not never been.
It's fine.
That's fine.
There's plenty of people that don't like review scores, and there's heaps of people that love it. And
exactly,
there's arguments for both sides.
Yeah, totally.
I just think the review scores in general, as they apply today, need a refresh, a bit of a reset across the industry to kind of get the standards set.
There definitely needs to be a standard of what's required for certain things, because 7 out of 10 too much snow is not a great way to review a game.
Exactly. Which is unfortunately how a lot of big sites and stuff like that cover their games.
Yeah, and I think like review scores have become such like a judgment piece for games. Like if it doesn't get like over an 85 on Metacritic, you know, people are like, it's a piece of shit or whatever. So I completely disagree with that. There can be, you know, 7 out of 10s that are phenomenal games for someone. But an 8 out of 10, you know, doesn't make a terrible game. So it's a contentious issue for sure.
Oh, it is. Yes, it's one definitely people use for arguments all the time.
Oh my god!
This console have good games. Well, you haven't scored one over 85 on Metacritic. It's like, are you fucking serious?
Yep.
Yeah, judging it on a number.
Nothing over 85. Get the fuck out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Holy Christ. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Deft Puppies, my friend.
Yes.
What have you been playing this week?
Way too much Kingdom Come Deliverance. Way too much. That's essentially I've played. I did some other stuff as well, but I'm maybe about just over halfway, 3/4 through the story now. There's so much there. Like every person you talk to, there's a fucking scripted side quest. I was like, okay, I guess I'm doing this now, and fuck the main story. Like, I just got myself out of a church, which was hell, by the way, because you have to, like, it's super realistic. Like you're in a monastery. And like you're there for reasons I won't tell because I don't know, spoilers, I guess. But you're in there and you have to like find this guy and convince him to come with you and leave, or kill him, either way. And you have to live the monastery life while trying to balance doing all the things you need to do. And if you are late to something twice, you get put in solitary confinement for 24 hours.
What?
So you have to like not get caught. You have to do certain tasks for the church, like, you know, you have to do some transcribing of scripts and some alchemy as well, and you have to create certain potions, concoctions, and all that kind of stuff, which is fine. You have to eat at the same time as everybody else. You've got to go to mass twice a day, and you still need to sabotage everything you're supposed to do. And there's about 8 side quests in that church alone as well that have like their own thing going on, and that's just like one main mission. It's fucking nuts. I love it. It's great. There is so much game there.
Sounds very layered.
No. I have a problem with the save files. That's my only issue with this game now, is the saving system. You either have to sleep in a particular bed or craft a potion to save.
What?
And if you've been playing for a few hours, which has happened to me before, you know, I've played for a couple of hours and then I've died, I go back to that save point and I've got to do all that work again. So he's like,
that's rough.
Fuck. So you just spamming escape to get through all the conversations as fast as possible.
It's a very old school mechanic, that
it is.
The lack of checkpoint saving, I guess.
I mean, it makes you like it makes you play a certain way, which is kind of interesting, but it still kind of gets a little frustrating, especially when you get into the game and you totally forget to save. There are a few auto save points as well, but they're kind of few and far between after like main missions, which take several hours to kind of get through the story arc of that. So it is what it is. But rather enjoyable game. Quite like it. The other thing I got into is I played a few hours of Sea of Thieves, which is something I've been meaning to get back to for forever.
Nice.
They just had a content
How
drop,
is
or they have a new one.
Sea of Thieves, 2020?
There's been a lot of quality of life improvements. Things are different. There's more stuff to do if you want to do it. There's a few different ways of combating people now too. They've got like a shrapnel grenade and a firebomb, which is like a Molotov cocktail, which is pretty fun because you can set your own ship on fire. Totally,
that sounds like
do
something
that a few times.
you would do all the time.
No,
Accidentally,
like, just
and on
twice. Just twice.
Twice.
One accidentally and one maybe on purpose.
Yeah. You're like, I wonder if it burns at sea. Splash.
Yeah, and as I think as of like a few months ago, they started adding these things called tall tales, which are like short story-driven missions that kind of lead to an overarching story. And for the most part, originally they were kind of go here, find this spot, navigate your way there using clues, and they take an hour or two to complete. Kind of, if you were kind of clued on to what was going on, you knew the map well. I did their new one, and they've changed it totally. So you still do the kind of, all right, you have to find this location, but then that takes you into a cave, and it kind of plays out like a Destiny strike. So you move through these areas, you have to solve a few basic puzzles to get through to certain areas, you kill a few enemies, solve a basic puzzle, get through the area, or to fight a main boss, which wasn't a lot, but the whole experience had just so much atmosphere to it, and there was like scripted cutscenes, but they weren't like cutscenes, they're like just kind of happening in the world, so you could walk away from it if you wanted to. But the characters kind of popped up and were having conversations there with you and with other characters as well, which is something that wasn't there before. It was kind of, we tell you the story from the vendor's perspective or whatever, or through a book. And this one had like characters actually appear, and it felt a lot more fleshed out, and it was really, really good, especially for free content. It was quite enjoyable. I mean, it was 2 hours of my time to do the one thing, and that was with someone who knew where to go. But it was really fun. I really, really enjoyed it. It was really good. I'm looking forward to more.
That's probably the key thing, to have someone who knows what they're doing. Because last time I played with you and fucking Static, I ended up swimming around the damn bloody map at half the time, getting eaten by sharks trying to chase the boat.
Yeah, it's changed since then. Like I said, these quests, like you read the book and you've got to figure out the clues, which are a lot were a lot easier to look at this time too.
Is it populated? Are there many players in the game playing at the moment?
I saw a few other ships while we were there, kind of towards the end of the night. Like, you don't normally, like, you've never really seen a mass abundance of ships. I think they limit how many in a save world at a time. So I think it's only up to like 5 or 6 crews at a time. So the map isn't too crowded. You can avoid each other if you want to. So I ran into maybe 2 or 3 crews throughout the night, which felt okay. It wasn't like, fuck, we have to avoid this fight, or do we fight them, or do we run away, or we're not getting griefed all the time. It was a good balance, which I think has always been a good thing. We slaughtered one, and then we got slaughtered.
Stole their booty.
The balance. No, I didn't even do that. I just watched their ship burn.
It's even better. Just watching it burn.
Just watching it burn. That's all I need. But yeah, that's been me this week. Again, pacing up my games. I'm still gonna get Uncharted, but I gotta get through Kingdom Come first.
Question for you in regards to Sea of Thieves. Do you see Rare and Microsoft making a sequel, or constantly adding to this for next gen?
I think they're gonna keep adding for at least another year. Maybe they might do something off. I mean, I know Rare have EverQuest coming out at some point. Everwild, that's it. Which is a very similar game. So maybe they might slow on Sea of Thieves, because I mean they're doing it at the moment. They're doing monthly content, so that's a lot of kind of stuff to get out.
Especially when you're at home working.
Yeah,
sure these developers are.
So maybe with 2 games, they might slow that down to once every 3 months they do a content update, and then they focus on the new game for a while, which would be okay. Like there's plenty of changes there, and from what I've seen from the community, like they seem to really enjoy what they've been getting. So.
Fair enough.
Yeah. What about you, Gray? What have you been up to this week?
I'm just gonna jump over to Direct first. I want to find out what you've been playing this week. Have you been playing that T-shirt you're wearing there?
I wish. Do you know we would be playing that in 2 days if it wasn't delayed. I hope you realize.
Oh my god! What have they
What that would have been perfect timing in a pandemic, but you know, whatever. I've been playing Dishonored 2. I played through Dishonored 1 and all the DLC. I think I finished it up about a week ago. Incredible. And I just finished Dishonored 2 last night. I just smashed through it. It's so good. Like the level design in that game is just
Awesome.
It's phenomenal. It's so amazing. Story's really good too. Like I think it got a bit of flack for not being that different to Dishonored 1 in the story, which I kind of get, but I think it's great. You can choose the protagonist. I played as Emily, and she's got really cool powers that are different from Corvo's in the first one, because you can play as him as well, and I think he's got similar powers to what he did in the original game. Man, I just love it so much. Like doing a stealthy run. I know we were talking about this on Twitter the other day. You know, I didn't get the ghost achievement for this game either, but I killed one person. Yeah,
What?
no, I couldn't be bothered going back and like you know,
killed
I got
one
detected.
person. You got all that way, and you killed one. Can you explain why?
I had a
did you
similar
kill
I actually
one
don't
person?
know. I don't know who it was, and that's what annoyed me. I thought I got through one of the middle missions. It got to the end screen. It was like one kill, and I was like, "Well, I'm not just going to redo it now. I just finished it." So, but I think I'm going to play it again and do like a no powers run as Corvo and kill a lot of people. So that should be fun. But man, it's so good. Some of the missions in it are so clever the way they do it. I don't know if you played it, but there's like the one with the time jumping. That is just so clever how you can in real time see the past, and then you can jump between the past and the present, and it's just that level in itself is one of the best levels I've played for a long time. So
is that similar to like the Titanfall 2 level?
I've not played Titanfall 2.
Oh, the story campaign is a similar thing where you've got to parkour through this level and switch between future and past to make sure you've got a clear path to go through.
It sounds similar, yeah. You've got this like it's called the timepiece, and it's like this big glass fan that you fan out, and you can look through it and see what's happening in the past or in the present when you're either in the past or the present. So you can see, like, you look into the past and there's all guards around, so you can like sneak past the guards, but then you get to a door which is blocked in the present, but it's not blocked. It's like it's openable in the past. So you flick to the past, open the door, and when guards see you can jump back into the present. And it's just like the way you can have those two timelines going at the same time, and you're looking through this timepiece. It's incredible. It's so clever.
It was a really well done game. The second one, the first one was always super special to me. The second one, to me, it didn't live up to the first one. It was like they played it very safe. Like they did expand it a little bit. They gave you another character to play as and whatnot, which was cool. But the first one was so unique. It came out of nowhere and just blew everyone away. But they were kind of hoping they'd do it again with the second one. It's still a great game, 100%. Really enjoyable to play from start to finish.
And I played like half of the first game when it launched. Like I was really hyped for it, and I don't know why I fell off it. And I never went back until recently. So it was like, it was really cool. I got to a point in the game where I was like, oh, I've played this stuff before. And then it got to a line and I was like, oh, this is where I stopped playing. So play through all the DLC and everything. And I thought the DLC was really good because it led straight into Dishonored 2. And just being able to jump straight into that and play was really cool. But yeah, I kind of understand what you mean about it being played safe. But I think they had a pretty good formula that it was like, I thought it was amazing game. It's such a cool IP though. So like the whaling stuff and the world they've created and the lore is just like so deep and so well fleshed out.
Yeah, definitely. The whole background to it is pretty cool.
That's insane.
Hopefully I would love to see him go again. And I wouldn't want to see him go open world with it because I just don't know how you wouldn't be able to pull it off properly. But keep those linear levels and I don't know, just give us something bigger maybe.
Yeah, like something like, I think Deus Ex Mankind Divided's level design is incredible as well, like that immersive sim style where it's like, especially in like Prague, I think it is, in Deus Ex, it's like an open-ish map with like so many little nooks and crannies you can explore, but then some of the missions are outside of that map and some are within it. I think something like that would be perfect for a new Dishonored. I don't know if you played Death of the Outsider, but I'm going to jump into that probably next. I'll buy that and play it. So
Nice, nice. Anything else while in isolation?
yeah, it's on Game Pass. I've been playing bloody Ashes Cricket.
Ashes Cricket.
Ashes Cricket, yeah. So for a bit of fun, it's actually enjoyable. Like it's you know, it's low budget. Let's just say, but it's got some, you know, yeah, it's got some hilarious commentating. It's got all the, you know, the stadiums from Australia and everything, which is nice. And you can start up from club cricket and work your way up through, like the state cricket and then 2020 and test and all that stuff. So that's kind of what I do when I'm just distressed from like trying to be stealthy. I'm like, oh, I'm just going to hit some sixes for a while.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, drink a few beers and swing this bat around.
And I did play Tacoma, also on Game Pass. So I'd say it's a walking simulator, which I really like. And it was awesome. It's like 2-3 hours long.
Looks really interesting.
It is great. It's a really cool little story, weird little sci-fi story. Yeah, totally recommend, especially if you have Game Pass, because it's like a couple of gig to download, few hours to finish. You can finish it in like 1 or 2 sittings. Yeah, it's really good.
Very nice, very nice. And I noticed none of you have played Final Fantasy VII.
No, it's up there. I haven't even taken it out. Yeah, yeah.
God, man, put that in your bloody console right now.
Well, my partner's been playing Persona 5 Royal since the day it came out. She's put almost 150 hours into it. See, Final Fantasy's hers. I've never played them, and she's a huge fan, but she's absolutely loves Persona. So she's almost put like 150 hours into Persona 5 Royal. So she hasn't started Final Fantasy yet. So,
well, that's all I have played all this week.
Nice.
It is done. Man, they fucking nailed it.
You liked it?
They did so good. I'm reviewing it now, so the script's like half written, and I'm reviewing it in 2 different ways. I'm looking at it. The first part of my review, first half, is based on Final Fantasy VII Remake as a standalone game, as it is for a new player like yourself coming into the series, picking up the controller and playing it. Like, what's the story like? Does it make sense? The characters, are they weird or is it just off? What's the combat like? Et cetera, et cetera. And how does it end? Does it feel like a good ending, like a solid ending to a game? And then the other half, the other side of my review will be, how does it stack up as a remake, as a reimagining to, arguably one of the greatest games ever done? So yeah, it kind of gives both sides of the review, because I have seen, I've read one review and it's like, I'm pretty sure they have some big nostalgia goggles strapped to their forehead because as great as the game is, it does fuck up in one big area and it's really annoying, and that's its side quests. Its side quests are just straight trash. They really are. It is the worst part of it, to the point where I would not recommend playing the side quests.
Wow.
Oh shit. Wow.
How did you entire game? I would, if you're just a new player, don't even bother. Stick to the main story, run through that, take you 30 hours and enjoy it. Don't even.
Right.
Yeah, it's so bad and it's so annoying because the combat, the only thing that pulled me through was obviously because I'm a very hardcore Final Fantasy VII fan, but the combat I found really good. I really enjoyed it. It's got some hidden depth to it. Not a great deal. It's not super tricky or advanced, and it definitely doesn't go as deep as the original Materia system did. Still does a little tiny bit. So I found the combat really, really cool. So that's why I was definitely doing the side quests to engage in that combat loop. Stupid things like go and chase down someone's cats. Like, that's a mission you got to do. You're like, are you fucking serious? Square? Like 2020? Like,
yeah, I was gonna say
Cloud is sitting there going to pat the cat, and the cat runs off, and he stands up and like pretty much looks straight at the camera. He's like, "This sucks." I'm like, "Dude, no, I'm here now. Why are we doing this? It is stupid." And unfortunately, there are plenty of those types of quests. Heaps of them,
no.
actually. They fill up the whole thing. There is honestly only a handful of good side quests that have a interesting loop to it, a bit of a story to it, and a good boss fight or a good fight towards the end of it, and it rewards you in some way with a newer weapon or something along that line. But overall, killer game, man. Fucking Square nailed it. They have literally written a whole new book on how to do a remake, how to take the game from what it was and bring it into 2020. But also, I remember that everyone remembers the arguments people were having. How do you justify chopping this game up and selling it off in so many bits? Play the game. That's how they do it. It's done so well, and it's so justified how much content is in there. Ridiculous. I will probably get close to 80 hours out of the game.
That's pretty good for
Yeah,
a
cool.
partial remake of a game. How did you find the end? Because I know you were concerned about how they were going to handle leaving it where they did.
I fucking love the ending.
Yeah.
It is brutally good, and a lot of people won't like the ending. I don't know how many people have got to the end yet. I wouldn't imagine it's a shitload of people, but I think the super hardcore purists, the ones who didn't want it altered, aren't going to like it. But I can't talk about it because I don't want to spoil it for anyone.
Yeah, fair. Obviously, yeah.
There is, they don't outright say it, but there is something going on in this game that, when you think about it at the end, when you see the actual ending and what it means, is really tricky. Like, I don't think any other company's done it in a game before. What they're trying to do, if it is what they're trying to do, it's just a theory. What no one will know until we see the next game.
Right.
But unfortunately, I can't talk anything about it because it is just it'll brutally ruin the game.
Sure.
But
I think I will
there
play it, even though I've never played 7 before. I think it's something I really want to play and kind of see it from the outside in.
Honestly, it's if for someone coming in like yourself, which a lot of people would be, do it. It is a fantastic JRPG. So there are the tropes there. Like, it is what it is. But and the voice acting is insane. The graphics are insane. Performance runs so super well. Like,
yeah.
And there is a reason why this thing came on 2 discs. Like, I think there's probably close to 10 hours of cutscenes and just talking. Like,
That's
it
sick.
is.
That's what I'm all about.
And it's so well presented and it's so well done. And yeah, it does really well for the new people coming in, and it pays really good homage to the older players, seeing all those places again, but under a different kind of look. They did it. They did it really good. The Honeybee Inn section. I don't know. You guys never played the original?
I know the bit you're talking about, though. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a brothel, really. It's a prostitution den and whatnot. It's like, how do you, and you cross dress and all the rest of it for this weird ass dude to pick you? Yeah, it's odd, and it's like, how the hell are you going to do that in 2020? Like, how do you pull that? And they do. They fucking nail it. They did it so well, and it makes sense, and it's enjoyable to watch. Like, it's interesting to watch how they do it, and the execution is just wicked. And then there's all the old enemies that come back that have just been, obviously totally redone. But for a modern age, man, 10 out of 10 as far as remake goes. Perfect. Loved it.
Sick.
Nice.
Let's move on, shall we, to a segment
I'd
like to call Fast Comes. DirecktGaming. This is aimed at you.
Sure.
My friend. This is where we're going to take around about 20 odd questions in rapid fire interview style esque. You are going to give us your quickest and best answers.
Awesome.
Are you ready?
I am.
Okay. Let us start, shall we? Question 1. Where would you go if you were invisible?
Jesus Christ.
You can be totally honest.
There is no judgment here.
Jeez, that's actually...
Don't overthink it.
Nah, I'm trying not to. Somewhere inappropriate.
Good call. That's an honest answer. We like on this show. What is your dream job?
Whoa. Professional musician.
What is your favorite movie quote?
Oh, fuck. I'm really bad at movie quotes.
Just say Arnold Schwarzenegger or something.
Jeez. It's a trap.
It's a trap. It's solid.
It's a trap.
Nice.
Solid. Game of the year this year. Can be any game. What do you think is going to win game of the year?
What do I think? It's not necessarily has come out.
Nope.
Cyberpunk.
Fair enough. What was your yeah, the shirt says it all. What was your first console?
SNES.
Nice.
Yeah.
Mixer, Twitch, YouTube, or Facebook?
YouTube.
Inverted controller.
No. I worked out my partner is the other week and I was so confused.
I'm going to get someone on this show one day that plays inverted with me.
Yeah.
And then they can start a new podcast about being the only two people in the world that have inverted controllers.
Exactly.
Two inverted thumbs.
Two inverted thumbs. It'll be the new show. All right. You had to pick Skyrim or Fallout.
Skyrim.
If you had to play one game forever, what would it be?
I think last week you said franchises are acceptable.
Yep.
Yes, correct.
Mass Effect.
Mass Effect.
Easy.
Fair enough. All right. Who is your number one YouTuber?
Oh, Triple Jump.
Oh yeah.
They are phenomenal, hilarious British dudes that used to be on What Culture. Seriously, go check them out. They are phenomenal.
Nice. All right. What product would you refuse to promote on your YouTube channel?
Raid Shadow Legends.
Oh yes, I was waiting for that.
Yes. You watch him blow up on YouTube next week and they come knocking. We'll give you 20 grand to shout this out. You'll be like,
sell out. I'm
sign
sold.
me up.
Sold
I'll
out.
just tattoo that on my chest.
The best ones are the people that make videos about Raid Shadow Legends being shit, and then the ads is all Raid Shadow Legends throughout the fucking video.
Yeah, I know. There's some classic ones on. All right, what is your favorite generation of console?
360.
360, nice choice. What is the strangest thing you have ever eaten?
Chicken feet.
Chicken feet. Raw or cooked?
Cooked. It's like yum cha. It's not bad. They're very
It's a whole
gristly,
thing.
but it's alright.
Puppy, you're a
interesting.
chef. Have you eaten chicken feet?
I have, yeah. It's not gross. It's interesting, but
It's
not
not
something
great.
you
No.
like crave every day.
No.
I'm just gonna duck down to
Them
7-Eleven,
feet,
grab
though.
some chicken feet. All right, what would you do with your 15 minutes of fame?
Self-promote.
We love this. We love this question. All right, if a movie was made of your life, what genre would it be, and who would play you?
Jesus. What genre? Let's go comedy, because I love a good comedy. Who would play me? Fuck.
Stifler.
If we could flip the timelines around. No, because he's not an actor, but shit, I have no idea.
Tom
No.
Hanks it is.
Oh,
I was
yeah,
going
he
to
can
say
grow a
Ben
beard.
Stiller.
Hey, you can tussle your hair. Ben Stiller as well. There's so many to pick from. Use one word to describe your gaming ability.
Poor.
Fair enough. Best game you have played this year.
Ori.
Oh, yep. PlayStation or Xbox?
Xbox.
If you could be locked away in isolation for 2 weeks with anyone in the world, who would it be and why? And this is your final question.
My partner, she's right here. And
Cop out.
because we are, she's got headphones on, she can't even hear me.
Pretend she's not in the room.
Waiting for a shoe to fly across.
Probably still her. We're used to being together for 2 weeks at a time. Anyone else, I'd probably kill them. So
Fair enough. And that was it. Thank you.
Thanks,
very
man. That
much
was
for
great
that.
fun.
You enjoy that? No worries.
Great segment.
Shall we move on to the deals this week, gents? What do you reckon?
Let's
do it.
Yeah,
All
let's
right,
do
let's
it.
go over to the PlayStation Network. Starting off with PlayStation Plus is Uncharted 4, A Thief's End, and Dirt Rally 2.0. Both free on there. Go get those. PSN deals this week. Days Gone for $40 and God of War for $25. Wow, that is some insane content. Go play that.
God of War. My God.
Oh god, exactly. Over on Xbox this week with games with gold, we have Project Cars 2 and Fabled Anniversary. I think they were the same as the last week.
Correct,
Yeah.
yes.
And over with deals with gold this week, we have Remnant from the Ashes for $40 and Graveyard Keeper for $16.17. Now, Direct, you reviewed Remnant from the Ashes. Can you give us a quick 30-second spiel?
Yeah, third-person Souls-like shooter with procedurally generated areas and so many bosses that you won't see them all in your first run through. It's kind of like Souls cross Destiny cross, I don't know, just third-person shooters in general. It's really good.
Fair enough.
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
And Graveyard Keeper is, I believe, kind of like Stardew Valley, but you work in a graveyard, isn't that?
Slightly more morbid, yeah. Still similar sort of game. It's kind of farm and grind to reach next objectives and do different tasks.
Nice.
But an enjoyable game nonetheless. I've seen a lot of people play it and really, really like it. So if you're into that, it's definitely worth grabbing.
Over on the Switch this week, we have Hyper Jam for $13, which is a fast-paced multiplayer arena gameplay for wonderful players. We also have Assassin's Creed: The Rebel Collection, which includes Black Flag and Rogue for $24.
Jeez, that's
You
right.
guys-
That's
$24 on the Switch. Take that
great.
and go. That is insanely good. Black Flag, probably one of the best Assassin's Creeds.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's one of my favorites. I 100%ed it and the DLC. All the
Nice.
DLC
Setting
for
is
that,
just-
which was
setting is
insane, but it was that much fun to play.
Yeah, it was.
I think Rogue's like really underrated because it came out on 360 when Unity came out, I think on the Xbox One, and it kind of got lost in the the previous generation. So
Yeah, Rogue was quite good. It was a little shorter than most of them, but it was one of those kind of half games. I think it wasn't even a full price, but it was it was a really good game nonetheless. I played it recently, like last year or something. Really enjoyed it.
Over on the Epic Store this week, we have Close to the Sun, an alternate history thriller that explores the implications of reality in which all of Nikola Tesla's ambitious, wild, and often deranged ideas came to life. Now that sounds, on paper, fucking interesting as. Have you played it or seen it?
No, I have it downloaded. I watched some of the trailer clip they have on the Epic Store, and it's all first person from what I can see. It looks hella good though, man. Like it looks really good. Yeah.
That sounds really good.
Yeah, I'm adding it to my backlog for sure.
There we go. That's on Epic again. That's all free if you want that one. Also on Epic Store is Sherlock Holmes: Crime and Punishment. Now I played these last gen. Awesome games.
Who developed
games?
those?
Frogwares that did the marvelous Sinking City.
Yeah,
we all fucking raved about. Not. Hated that game. All right. Shall we move on to the news this week?
Yeah.
Let us start it off with the new PlayStation controller. The PlayStation 5 controller looks radically different from the company's previous gamepad designs. Instead having a new futuristic look, a white and black color scheme, and a boomerang-like shape, the DualSense controller is also coming with several new features, including an adaptive shoulder button triggers with haptic feedback, a built-in microphone, and a new create button that replaces the PlayStation 4 share button. Deaf Puppies, what do you think of the controller?
It looks good. It looks good. Like, it's like I was watching something the other day, yesterday or today, and it was like a phase through of each generation of controller. And if you look at the transition from the PS4 controller now and this one, it's not a huge lot of difference. Like, it's a little more rounded out, so it's got a similar shape to what the Xbox controllers do now, which is good because those feel fucking fantastic in your hands. And I've always had issues with the PlayStation controllers. I've never really liked how they felt. Mostly the thumbsticks, because there's a whole thing there that I don't like. But the shape looks good. The triggers, yeah, the thumbs, they get in the way. It looks good and clean. I don't like the white color. I'm really hoping there's options for just single color black or single color in general. I mean, we've seen a heap of the community creations lately, which look fucking sick. But I mean, I like it. It'll be interesting. I can't tell if I'm really gonna like Control until I've got it in my hands. But from what I've seen, it looks a lot like an improvement.
It does look like an improvement. Derek, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it looks pretty good. I like that they've kind of changed the shape, because I'm the same as Puppies. I think the shape of the PS4 controller is a bit like, I don't know if I find it too small or just awkwardly shaped, or the way the triggers are. I don't know, but I just don't find it as comfortable as Xbox. But I like that it looks a bit kind of rounder. I think it looks phenomenal in that color scheme, though. I don't know, it's like some Stormtrooper thing that I kind of like the look of, which makes me think that the console is going to be white and black as well, which is like a huge change for Sony.
Yeah, so I'm on the controller. I'm the same as you. And I mean, if you guys hated the DualShock 4, did you just play with the DualShock 3?
Not a lot.
Yeah,
no.
once, never again.
that thing was even skinnier, man, than the DualShock 4. So yeah, they have been progressively bigger and bigger, and this one, they've got to chase that form factor of the Xbox controller. I mean, I don't even use a standard DualShock 4. I haven't used one in years, because I've got third-party ones that are much bigger. They're, like Xbox size. It looks smooth. It looks really nice. I like the sleek edges to it, and I think, or I was saying with the controller, I don't know about the microphone inbuilt into the controller. I don't know how the fuck that works with buttons clicking, and you smash out your joysticks towards the edges. Like, it's just odd.
You'd have a manual noise gate. It'd probably knock them out. Maybe be something. I mean, I can see that being an issue. Yeah.
It's also got a mute button, which I think is good, but I don't see the point of having a microphone on a controller. I think it's, I don't know, it's kind of just pointless, right?
It has a 3.5 jack, right? It should have. Yeah.
They still say to plug it in. Like, they even say, don't use it. Like, if you plan to be on a voice party chat, use your headset and a proper mic. Like, I think it's just there to help, but I think it must be there for something we don't know about.
Well, there were those patents, right? Like, and I don't know how legit this information is, but like, I think there were patents from Sony about like using it as voice assistant, which I don't know how I feel about that. Like,
I mean, they might just have voice commands with the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, and it's picked up through the controller. It's like not the Kinect, but a similar system where it's just through the controller instead, and you'd have options to turn that off as well.
For sure, yeah.
But that's the way I could see it practically being used for the console anyway.
And I think the big thing no one is like, not a lot of people talking about are those triggers, those haptic feedback triggers. Someone went into detail. I can't remember who it was that was reading about it, because someone was just going, "Oh, it's just the same as what the Xbox has now," and it's like, no, apparently it's completely different. Like, it's a whole new sensory type thing of how it works. Do you know more about it?
There's a big difference, I think, between haptic feedback and, like, I know the Xbox ones are, called, I can't remember what they're called, but it's kind of similar, like adaptive triggers or something like that.
Yeah,
but,
it's adaptive.
Haptic feedback is much more like advanced compared to just a vibration motor, so it can be like you know, like the way our phones vibrate now is much different than just like a vibration motor in like a controller or, you know, like a phone from 10 years ago. I think the sensitivity, like how they say, you know, if you're pulling a bow, I think that's a good description, is like you can feel it tense up. I think that's something that's really cool if it gets used, you know, like often. I don't want to see Sony just have like gimmicks on their controller, like 6-axis, and then it be crap and no one ever use it. And it's like, what was the point? I really want to see these things get utilized and kind of become the norm, because haptics are in everything now. So
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like the speaker in the DualShock 4 was just underutilized as well. I remember playing with, I think it was Horizon Zero Dawn. I think it's that, or maybe it was Killzone actually. I think it might have been Killzone. When you pick up a piece of Intel, it would play it out through the speaker to you,
that's
because
cool.
you're looking at it and it's coming out through there, and you can still like run around in the game and shoot and do everything like that. But the Intel's still getting read out to you, and I thought it was a really cool little thing that they did. I don't think I ever saw it again for the whole generation.
The baby,
like
the baby in Death Stranding.
The touch sensitive on
I didn't, because I use headphones now.
Yes.
You don't hear it, which is annoying.
Similar to like the touchpad, I don't think that got used nearly as much as it could have either, which is probably why it's gone as well. Which could have been really interesting in gameplay.
Touchpad
no, it's gone. I think.
No,
is it still there? Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, it just looks all white because I can't tell the difference.
Yeah.
Colorblind.
It's kind of just like
apparently
like a big start button, though, isn't it? Like,
it's all. It's just another big button. No, there are some games that utilized it. Again, it was underutilized. Like, you, depending on which side you pushed on, would bring up a different menu or a different option. But other than that, it was not. Yeah, everyone just mushed the button, and that was it.
Yeah.
In regards to with the two-tone color and the more sleek edges that we're seeing in this thing, what do you think? Obviously, the console is going to look, I think, radically different than what everyone's expecting. I don't think they're going to go the route Microsoft have with the tower, but I think they're going to bring back like some big curves, something a bit next gen. I think they really want to go futuristic. I read something about that they were a little disappointed in themselves that the step from PlayStation 3 to PlayStation 4 didn't feel next gen enough. It didn't feel like there's this huge leap, and that's what they want to go for this time. What do you reckon the console is going to look like? Do you think it'll be different?
There's there was the dev kit floating around, which is like looks like a toilet seat. To be honest.
Yep. I did see a mock-up of that done much better, and it looked freaking awesome.
I mean, I almost kind of wanted like maybe something not as like the original one was kind of chunky, so if they went for like a sleeker kind of design of that, I think that would look really, really cool. I think again, I think Direct was saying the two-tone. I think they're going to stick with that as well, so it matches the controller. So it just makes sense. Sure. They'd have to. But yeah, I could definitely see them moving away from the radiator slats. Maybe keeping it in some spots in the back or something to kind of pay homage to previous generations. But I don't. Yeah, we'll definitely see something. Maybe even more rounded. I think we might see.
Yeah, I tend to agree as well. I think this gen was like, for both Xbox and PlayStation, was very like minimal. Like the Xboxes are literally just boxes, and they've gotten smaller and smaller, and they look better and better. I think the One X looks great, but it is very minimal. And I think like the Series X is kind of almost exactly the same, just standing up and a square. And I think it looks cool because it's something different for a console. But I think you're right. Like Sony will do a kind of futuristic, nice lines, and especially if it matches up to the way the controller looks, it should be very sleek, I think.
Which I think will help them. It'll help them visually trying to sell the damn. Especially if you're going up against, you walk into EB Games and you see if Sony have got some futuristic looking white and black two-tone new console, and you've splashed whatever games are coming with it, and then you've got the the brutal edges of that tall.
It's a good description, yeah.
Series X. It's just like, what would you be personally more attracted to go and buy? It's like someone if you didn't have any brand loyalty or you didn't already know what you wanted to go get. maybe that's what Sony might be aiming at. Who knows?
And I think it depends how they how Microsoft package it. Like if the front of the box has the top of the console on it, which is kind of like really nicely shaped and it has that green underneath it. If that's the front of the box, like a nice shot of that, people might be like, oh, that looks really cool. But you're right, it is very like brutalist, like big rectangular box. So it might appeal to some people's tastes, but I think Sony will have a different story with that.
Most likely. Hopefully, we find out soon. I know when they did put this out for the new controller, they did say to expect the reveal of the damn console within the next 3 months. So
yeah, hopefully we'll see something through. It'd be nice to, we know everything about the PlayStation. Well, not everything, but we know a lot about the PlayStation. We just don't know what it looks like. Which, I mean, isn't
and also, to be
really
fair, when they showed the PlayStation 4 off, it wasn't until June. So it would have been June this year is when we finally saw what the PlayStation 4 would look like, and then it released in November. So they are sticking to what they normally do in holding it back and showing it off, and then, it's not too long before it comes out. Which I guess makes sense if you want to,
especially if they've had such a big change with the controller, doing that a few months apart, so people aren't, one thing isn't getting lost amongst the talk of the console and versus the controller.
Yeah. All right, moving on. We are on to more Resident Evil is on the way. Capcom plans to release a Resident Evil 4 remake in 2022. The report cites multiple development sources who indicate that the RE4 remake is now in full production. According to these sources, development is being handled by the Osaka-based Capcom-backed M2 studio of former Platinum Games head Tatsuya Minami. I think I got that right. The strategy would line up with the development of Resident Evil 2 and 3 remakes, which used most of blended teams of external Capcom studios and Capcom internal assets. VGC reports that the remake has been undertaken with the blessing of the original Resident Evil 4 game director Shinji Mikami, who apparently declined to take the lead on the project, but provided informal advice. Damn shame that he is not involved. What do you think on the whole Resident Evil remake train that is happening in the last 2-3 years?
It's good. I mean, I don't play the series at all, but I think it's good that we're seeing some. I mean, you always kind of want new experiences, new IPs, but I think the way they've changed from what I've seen from the original to the remakes has been fresh enough to kind of bring the newer generation into that franchise. I think it's been done really well and really smart. As long as they're not spamming them out too fast, like if they space them out like once a year, new remake, I think it'll be okay. But I think it'll become a point where it become too much if they did it too fast. So
definitely,
definitely.
And I think the whole too much too fast is what's happening at the moment with RE3. I think a lot of people aren't appreciating how good the actual game is, and they're just focusing on some other the smaller content that's in there, which is fair, to be fair. But if the game may be released next year, not so close to Resident Evil 2, which is so damn good and so out of nowhere, it might have been received a bit more successfully, I guess.
Yeah, RE2 is still pretty fresh in people's minds, so it's hard not to compare it.
And I think it's like Capcom have done so much good stuff in the last few years. And again, I don't play RE either. Like I've never played them, but like Capcom have really done a great job of getting public opinion positive for them. But now it seems like it's just flipped really quickly due to RE3. And RE3 like still looks brilliant. Like I know graphics aren't the only thing, but it seems like such a night and day difference in like public opinion about it. And this could just be loud people on Twitter, because I hear a lot of people do like it. But I think them remaking 4, which is according to a lot of people, one of the best games of all time. I think that's a great move. But again, you're right. Like space it out. Don't release it in 12 months time. Maybe release it in 18 months time, 2 years. to give it time to kind of breathe, especially if there's RE8 on the way as well. So,
which is a big thing. They've got to keep it fresh with new takes coming in. Like Resident Evil 3 that is rumored for Resident Evil 8, sorry, that is rumored for next year. Obviously if we got that, then a 2-year break, and then we got hit with Resident Evil 4. It might be a bit easier to swallow, but yeah, like you said, if they plan on banging these out year after year, remake, new remake, it's going to get stale really fast.
Yeah, it's like the Assassin's Creed thing, right? Like,
yeah.
It was really good, and then it kind of just became the same thing over and over again, and just killed its own fan base essentially.
And you got to be very careful when you're doing remakes too, because you've got to kind of stay faithful to the original, because you step too far away from the source material or whatnot. So you're kind of limited in what you can do. You can't radically change the gameplay mechanics or whatnot. So there's only so far you can actually twist it to make it new.
And once they get past 4, they're not going to remake 5 and 6 because no one likes them.
They maybe not remake 5 and 6. Pretend they never existed, especially 6. That thing is just straight garbage.
So they're going to run out of games to remaster.
4 is there for it. Well, they got Code Veronica. See, and I would have preferred Code Veronica than 4, because I think 4 can still stand up now, playable. Like you can still go back. It's it's aged kind of well, whereas 2 and 3, 1, 2, and 3 definitely did not.
Yeah, completely different gameplay. Yeah.
All right, let's move on to our next article, and that is Crysis may be returning. Turn it up. So Electronic Arts appears to be teasing something related to the Crysis series. After a long period where the franchise has laid dormant, the official Twitter account tweeted a message for the first time in 4 years, suggesting an announcement is on the way. The tweet doesn't give many clues. It simply says receiving data. But it's also the first new tweet from the account since December 2016, so the message coming out of the blue seems likely to be hinting at something. What do you guys think it's hinting at?
It's got to be Crysis 4, right?
GPUs are going to have to start sweating.
Yeah, that's it. It's just fucking PS5 and Xbox Series X blowing up, not working.
The new benchmark is on the way. PC testers will rejoice.
Yes, that's it. Yes, this is going to be great. Puppies, do you think we're getting 1, 2, and 3 remastered, or do you think we're getting Crysis 4?
I kind of want a new one, but I could totally see a remaster happening. Like I said, it's been a while, and it's been so long since I've played them.
Could you see a remaster happening though? Have you seen Crysis 3? The fucking thing looks incredible today. Still,
even Crysis 2
on low settings, amazing. It looks great.
I mean, a new one would be good. I'm always up for new games rather than remakes or revamps. But yeah, I'd hope for a new game. And no doubt it'll be absolutely off its tits as well.
I'm trying to. Can you guys remember Crysis 3 launch? Because for some reason, I don't think it didn't do super well, did it? Like it did well. It looked great, but I don't think it didn't blow up like off like what Crysis and Crysis 2 did. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. People didn't seem even that positive about Crysis 2, but I love that game. But yeah, Crysis 3, it's like vaguely in my memory, but I never played it at launch. I played a little bit of it here and there, but I've never played it to completion. But I think Crysis, they look good enough, like you said, to not need a remaster. Like they could just release I mean, it's probably backwards compatible anyway on Xbox, but they could just release like updated textures that matches the PC version or something like that. They wouldn't actually have to do really that much work to make Crysis 2 and 3 look incredible. Not to mention 1, which still looks good to this day.
It's because a lot of YouTube channels and stuff like that do bench tests for games, for graphics cards and stuff like that. Crysis 3 is still used as a benchmark, today even to test new GPUs. So yeah, it still does look good. I think this has to be 4 or an
offshoot maybe.
Yeah, then next maybe
Yeah.
a side somewhere where they're going for it. But I think it's also it'd be a good time for them to maybe not reboot the series, but kind of give it a different take or push it in a bit of a different direction.
Yeah, that could happen. A whole reboot of the series would be interesting.
See, it's hard. I'm
It's a difficult one.
struggling to remember how 3 ended. Other than you're just a super soldier kicking alien ass. That's about it.
I mean, that's all you need to know, really, right?
Yeah, I think that is all you need to know. All right, next one on the list is Ghost of Tsushima details. Finally, we have some details. So, official PlayStation Magazine UK has released its May 2020 issue, which has information on Ghosts. It also includes a little tidbit on the backwards compatibility support for the PlayStation 5. The first official preview of Ghost of Tsushima goes a lot in depth into the various gameplay and story details presented in the game. It includes some interesting information on open world exploration and how Sucker Punch is trying to design the world. Some of the interesting information regarding the gameplay is summarized here. So we have the game is set on the island of Tsushima. I'm going to butcher some of these names. Akira Kurosawa is mentioned as one of the sources of inspiration. The game begins with the attack on the island of Tsushima from the invading Mongol Empire. The island of Tsushima, I don't know how many times I'm going to say this, has to be explored without waypoints to guide the player. Players will need to use the knowledge of the world and landmarks to explore and discover locations. The story will pass as the player will explore the world, and titles will tell how much time has passed since the invasion. Enemy blood can be spilled with quick Ajitsu strikes. It is possible to roam around enemy camps undetected using the grappling hook, and Jin can use gadgets like sticky arrows and firebombs. There will also be many allies as side characters, and the strength of their bond depends on the player's choice. Yeah, I am so ridiculously excited for this game.
This
game
sounds
is so fucking good.
amazing.
It sounds like it sounds like open world Sekiro.
Hmm.
If the combat
Yeah.
is anywhere Sekiro, I'm
What
in.
we've seen of the combat as well looks really, really good. Like the duel in that first trailer, like between him and the other like shinobi or whatever, that was incredible in the way the camera worked and everything during the fight. I don't know if it's going to be
all the leaves falling down.
Yeah, that was so good. I don't know if it's going to be as hard as something like Sekiro, which I hope it's not because
Yeah,
my
I
God,
have a feeling
that was so hard.
It'll be similar difficulty to like Assassin's Creed, where it'll be a little more like you still have to kind of find your way around, because I know Assassin's Creed has modes where you can turn off everything as well and just like find everything through the hints. Very similar to the way Ghost Recon handled it. But yeah, I think that they'll swap that for the difficulty, because there'll be enough kind of in there with the exploring, trying to get your way around.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting how they handle the difficulty, because they are going to get, just by nature, a lot of comparisons to Sekiro, which won how many Game of the Year awards? Like countless. So it is going to get compared to it, and obviously the best thing about Sekiro is its combat, and this is what's going to happen with Ghost. It's going to get, will it be able to hold up to Sekiro's combat in regards to their difficulty? Will they be able to slide it? Obviously, like most open world games these days don't have a difficulty slider, do they?
A lot, no, but something like The
No.
Witcher does. I know
That's
it's a
right,
very
The
different
Witcher does.
game, but they can. Like, it could be even like just enemy awareness or like damage taken or something like that to increase the difficulty, especially with a stealthy game. Like like in Dishonored, there's about 50 million customization options in Dishonored 2 for difficulty. And I don't think it would go that far, but it could even just be that's, enemies have more health, or enemies are more aware of your presence when you're stealthy or something like that on a harder difficulty.
Yeah, so it's very much, we're probably looking at an artificial slider difficulty, like you just said. Whereas like your Sekiro's difficulty comes from its combat. It's not that, so other enemies hit way harder or anything like that. It's how its combat is played out, and each animation is played differently, and you've all got to learn how to beat these enemies and bosses. It's insanely good. This one looks though. It looks really good. I like the idea of the no way and just find your own way, Breath of the Wild style. Just off you go. I think
I'm
this
gonna
game
get
is going
so
to be
fucking
super
lost.
cool.
I get too
You're
distracted.
going to need a Sherpa.
I'm gonna need a notepad and like a recorder and just like record everything. All right, fuck, I forgot what that was. Where am I going again?
Arthur Morgan style. Put it in your little drawing book.
Yeah.
Do you think this is going to get delayed?
No.
You don't think so? You reckon it's going to stick to its date of when is it? It's June
I think
22,
August.
isn't it?
Oh, was it
Maybe.
June? I thought it was
Yeah.
August.
June.
Yeah, no. I think it'll stay. I mean, if they push it too far back, it's not going to sell well because PlayStation 5, it's in a difficult spot where it's that kind of last great game of the generation, so to speak. And if they delay it, it's going to be too close to the launch of the new console for people. Oh well, you know.
But if they don't delay it, and they've got The Last of Us sitting in limbo, I think that's somewhere as well. So this game is getting sandwiched between a new console release and The Last of Us 2. It's like,
I think The Last of Us will come after this. If it's been delayed without a release date, The Last of Us, and this, unless they do delay it, which I think would be crazy, but I don't know when Last of Us is going to come out. If they've said like we don't know when this is coming out, but they've got a new console coming out at the end of the year, like can they fit that in like September, October if they're even ready? Like that's a hard like situation for Sony to be in. I think
it's insanely difficult for them to drop a new IP, a new console, and one of the most successful new IPs of last gen. Yeah, you've got to sandwich those three things in the space of a few months. That's and then ask, you want people to buy it, and you want people to buy a super expensive console, and you want them to buy your new IP, and it's like that's a hard sell.
I can see Last of Us getting pushed back to a launch title for PS5, and then you can also buy it on PS4, but they'll push it as PS5, but it'll still be kind of quietly available for previous generations. That's what I reckon will happen.
Do you reckon they would do that though? I know we're going off topic from Ghost of Tsushima, which we'll go back to, but just for The Last of Us there, do you think that they would actually actively promote it for the PlayStation 5 and not the PS4?
I think the other way around. Well, not quite the other way around, but I think like they'll push it as like the swan song of the PS4, but you can also play it on PS5. Like, and maybe that's why they're delaying it, because they're going, oh well, this has to have upgrades for PS5, so it can't just be the exact same game for PS4 if we're going to release it on a new gen with all this new tech. There has to be something additional, but that is
be the poster child for backwards compatibility,
or even their version of like smart delivery, right? So like if they do something where you can put the disc in for PS4 or PS5 and it will just be the right version of the console you're putting it in, which I still don't know if PlayStation are going to do that. I think they should. That'd be a good option to advertise it as that and market it as like, buy this for PS4 and then play it on PS5 later on in the upgraded version for free. But that's a tough one.
Yeah, it's a super shitty situation for them to be in. You'd imagine they would have loved to have just got it out now, because it's not only that, they also all will be competing against Cyberpunk, which is going to be the biggest launch of the year. And The Last of Us is really the only game that could go toe to toe with Cyberpunk. I mean, not in sales wise, because one is exclusive to one platform and the other one is multi-platform. It's going to be available on a lot more areas, but still PS4 players are going to want to play Cyberpunk, and they'll be putting money aside for that. So it's a game you don't want to go up and try and challenge. And the best example of cannibalizing games is EA.
Titanfall.
Shooting Titanfall 2 just straight out of the gate. The thing didn't even get a chance to gallop, and they dropped Battlefield 1 right next to it. And it's just like, that is your best example of what Sony are trying to avoid. But they've got a new console, a new IP, and a massive, massive sequel. Yeah. You
And a new
wouldn't
IP that they've been talking about for years, which looks incredible.
It looks really, really good. Yeah.
I'm especially after the last trailer that came out for Ghosts. I'm so pumped for that game. It looks like it's got a great story, but man, it's just a really busy kind of part of the year. If Last of Us, is set to come out afterwards, or whatever. So yeah, that's tough for Sony.
Definitely. So back on Ghost of Tsushima, I did from the magazine, from the excerpt there, that the side characters that will join you, your little companions and whatnot, can turn on you.
Oh, really? Oh god.
Yeah.
Oh no.
So-
No. It's gonna go terribly wrong.
So yeah, depending on what it says there, they'll ally with you. Depending on the strength of their bond, if you do shitty things, they will turn against you, which is a super cool concept. I like that, especially
I'm just
if there's
picturing
lots of them.
I'm picturing the Fallout. Everyone disliked that.
Yeah, exactly. Shouldn't have stabbed that chicken. Never stabbed the chicken.
I wonder how that goes. That's cool. I didn't realize it was going to have kind of that interactivity. That's sick.
Yeah, I would love to see. I mean, I imagine soon, I'd love to see a good 10-15 minute gameplay demo of them tackling one of these castles or something like that, because reading about it, you can go full stealth as well. You can enter into these huge castles that you need to take over, whatnot, or you can stealth through it, not get seen, or you can kick down the front door if you're feeling good enough to just take everyone on. So I like how they're giving everyone the option to kind of do what you want.
That's sick.
Yeah. I'm
good.
Totally down for this fucking game. It's gonna be sick.
That it is. All right, we're going to move on to our last bit of news for the week, and that is a bit of a recap from Inside at Xbox, which was that hosted last week? I think it was Wednesday last week. The day after the podcast, the same day the controller came out.
I know, it's funny that, isn't it?
Yeah, fuckers. All right, Xbox held their Inside Xbox live stream last week, and here are a few of the highlights. We got a closer look at the single-player campaign in Grounded, the upcoming survival adventure game from Obsidian Entertainment. Project xCloud has added The Sims 4, Unravel 2, and Dragon Age Inquisition. New Xbox Game Pass titles Alvista Chronicles, Journey to the Savage Planet, Overcooked 2, Football Manager 2020, Mistover, and Stranger Things 3 the game. We also found out about a new content drop for Sea of Thieves, which Puppies just spoke about. Was that the same one?
No, this is a different one.
Different one, sorry.
Yeah.
So the new content drop for Sea of Thieves featuring new depth to the game's trading companies, allowing players the option to represent their favorite trading company. The Coalition celebrated Gears Tactics going gold. So Gears Tactics will have players assume the role of Gabe Diaz, as he commands his squad on a mission to hunt down the leader of the Locust Army. Ukon? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah,
Ukon?
Ukon.
Okay. All right. And a launch date of April 28th for Windows 10 on PC, Steam, and with Xbox Game Pass for PC. And lastly, Typhoon Studios revealed a Journey to the Savage Planet DLC. Hotline Miami Collection is going to Xbox One release. And we got our very first look at The Last Campfire, an intriguing new title from developer Hello Games. Bit to digest there, guys. So
A lot.
did you guys watch the Inside Xbox?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you?
All right, Direct. Give us your take. What did you think? Did it meet what you were looking for, and were you a bit underwhelmed?
I wasn't really expecting a lot from it, to be honest. Being that, I think an Inside Xbox isn't going to be where we get big announcements or anything like that. I think it was really cool of Xbox to do an Inside Xbox in this fashion, where they're all at home. They're all on their webcams, and they're treating it like a normal episode of Inside Xbox, but without the studio recording and everything. I think that was awesome for them to do. Phil Spencer was did a little segment, and it had the normal hosts. Inside Xboxes, I always find them enjoyable, but there wasn't a whole lot of information. But my God, Gears Tactics looks so good. I desperately need to buy a PC.
Oh, you've got your Mac.
It's not going to bloody play on that, is
Mate, your Mac doesn't even play your bloody microphone.
I know. Fucking hell. What am I doing with my life?
Oh,
It is
God.
coming to console later this year, but man, it looks phenomenal.
Yeah, it does look really good. I'm super keen, and also that we get that and XCOM 2 on the Switch within the same month, isn't it? So that's just there's a lot of tactic gameplay going on towards the end of April.
Tactical. That's what it is.
Puppies, what did you think?
Yeah, it's pretty much what I was expecting. It was good though. I'm with Direct. I really liked they did the kind of home style staying at home with that was just it sounds dumb, but it was just a nice approach to take to kind of like it was a good PR move. You know, people were like, oh, you know, they're people like us. They can relate to that a lot more. But it was still done really well. Yeah, mostly what I was expecting. Gears Tactic looks fucking good, and so does Grounded. I'm really intrigued by that. Like, I have a love-hate relationship with survival games like that. Some of them I love and some of them I fucking despise. I'm looking at you, Ark. But
Ark's looking straight back at you.
Yeah, no, it looks really good. I'm really excited for that one. It's something different from Obsidian, and given their kind of humor style, I think it'll be quite entertaining to see what comes out of that. It's an interesting premise for a survival game too, just being shrunk down in your backyard. There's Honey, I Shrunk the Kids vibes. There's that 90s nostalgia. It's great.
Right, so talk to me about just with Grounded. I haven't seen a great deal on it. Obviously, we all know who Obsidian are, and they've just recently dropped The Outer Worlds on us last year. Is this game? What is the scope of this game? Is it going to be a big game? Do we know the size of it? Is this a filler for Game Pass? Is it going to be a proper standalone, something that people are going to want to go out and buy?
I think it's a little bit of a filler for filler. I say that in a non negative way. I think it's a team of 13 people from Obsidian. I could be wrong on the exact number, but it's a very small offshoot team from Obsidian. It's not the main team, and it's just like a passion project. And I think that's cool because Game Pass allows them to do that. Having a service like that, allows a small part of that team to work on something new. And I think scope-wise, I'm not sure. It's a survival game, so I guess it's kind of endlessly replayable if you want it to be, but it seems to have a story. It seems to have a bit of a narrative about trying to get back to being normal size. So yeah, I think it'd be interesting. And again, going back to the Game Pass point, is if you have Game Pass, you can try it. Like Sea of Thieves, even the Outer Worlds, everything first party. It's you can give it a go, and it might really click with you. It might not, but you haven't spent any money. I think that's still Game Pass still blows me away. How much good value it is.
The reason I bring it up is because we had a Bleeding Edge come out, and even though it did unfortunately go up against Doom Eternal and Animal Crossing, which I still have these weird compulsions to go and buy. I don't know what it is, and I don't want to. Can't open my Twitter without seeing it on there. Fucking stupid thing. But Bleeding Edge did come out.
To no fanfare whatsoever.
It just gone, and there's there was no one talking about it. No one really playing it. Actually,
no reviews.
That many of you reviewed it.
No, there was it was 2 or 3, and that was it. And they were mostly
I think obviously because it was also in a shocking time to try and probably get games when everyone's trying to transition back home. It probably fell into that crack of bad timing.
For
really,
sure.
Really bad timing, especially going up against Doom and that. But yeah,
but
it's
again,
just
small,
that was from that's another offshoot of was it Ninja Theory?
Ninja Theory, yeah.
Yeah, so I just don't want to see these awesome studios that Microsoft have at the moment. If that's some of the route they've got to go with some of their other games to try and get stuff onto Game Pass, because I feel like eventually that'll devalue what Game Pass actually can be.
Yeah.
If everyone's just going to go, it's just like Bleeding Edge, or it's just whatever.
I think Grounded may have more potential than Bleeding Edge. Grounded is in I know, survival games are like a dime a dozen, but I think it has a bit of I don't know, charm to it or something like that. That
It's
Bleeding Edge
friendly, isn't it?
doesn't really. It looks it, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, see, Bleeding
Which
Edge
might
is a
help.
good game. The problem is it's a multiplayer team-based game, which means for it to be successful, you need the people playing it. And again, because of the circumstances that happened around its launch with minimal fanfare, it's gonna suffer because of that, which is really unfortunate.
Agreed. Hopefully it just hopefully Grounded is good.
Yeah,
Hopefully,
I hope so too.
People get to play it and hear about it, because it is annoying. Like, you know, Bleeding Edge came out and it sucks that no one really reviewed it, or no one.
That really
I'm
surprises
talking
me.
about bigger channels, you know, bigger media outlets.
Yeah,
not your random small YouTuber who can't reach out to anyone. But you know, IGN have got what 13 million subscribers or something like that. You know,
even on Metacritic, like there were hardly any like reviews of it. It was like really weird. I've never seen that. I don't think for you know a big publisher release.
Yeah, I actively searched for reviews and found 2. And
Sweet.
they were
Maybe it
like
would've been
reviews
good
in
for a small
progress. And I thought, oh, okay,
YouTube
right,
review.
multiplayer, sure. But then we haven't heard anything since. So I was just like, oh, shit.
Yeah, it's weird. I hope it does well. I hope, you know, all games do well. But it's like those living games, it's like they're not one and done. Like they're going to have to keep supporting it. And that's both of these are, well, they seem like Grounded seems to be a bit of a living game. Hopefully it doesn't detract from, you know, Hellblade 2 or Obsidian's next thing for these studios, because they've got these like live games going on at the same time. But it doesn't seem like they will. But I don't know. It's like I would prefer them to put their efforts towards, you know, the next Outer Worlds. But if this is a passion project that apparently they already had in the works before Microsoft came along, same with Bleeding Edge, you know, hopefully it's not going to affect the future of the studio's big titles.
We can only hope, and I'm sure that it's not going to. I think they're gonna these studios that these guys have got now. I think in the next few years coming, we're going to see what they can actually do. When they get
Absolutely,
they get the backing by Xbox and Microsoft. Here's the funds. Here's the time. Take your time. Do what you want. Go into it and get it done. Like, just knock yourselves out. That's when we're going to see. They are fucking fantastic developers, and they definitely know what they're doing. Obsidian, man. The business. So good. So good. Well, that's about all we've got for tonight, gents. Anything else that you want to add? Last minute to speak up. Anything you want to cover, talk about real quick? Puppies, you got anything for us that you want to go over?
No, I'm pretty good. Like, I wrote the run sheet this week, so everything I want in there.
Yep, that's very true. Direct, anything you want to bring up?
Nah, I think that's so much news.
There's a good chunk there to digest and get through.
It's good.
Well, let's wrap this up then. DirectGaming. Where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on youtube.com or twitter.com/DirectGaming. That's direct with a C and a K. I do, pretty regular videos. I try and do, but maybe one every 2 weeks, depending on how busy I've been. Got some new stuff coming to the channel as well, which should be fun. So go and subscribe. I would really appreciate that.
What can people look forward to coming up? What are you going to be tackling?
We're going to be
on your channel.
Review-wise, I'm actually working on a video about what I think is coming next for Xbox Game Studios, which is interesting. We just spoke about that. And then I probably will do like a newbie's perspective on Final Fantasy VII when I get around to playing it. And I'm working on backlog reviews for Dishonored and Dishonored 2 and kind of my thoughts about that genre. So, a few things going.
Oh, no, you weren't. Sorry.
Don't break my heart.
So, mate, Puppies and I'll we'll play it and talk about it and review it.
Please do. I'll just play XCOM 2 again and cry myself to sleep. XCOM 2 is amazing, though.
It is. Puppies, where can people find you, mate?
You can find me on Twitter and Mixer at deft_puppies. Ray, where are you?
Well, you can find me over on YouTube and also on Twitter. Grey Aussie Gamer. Pretty easy and simple to find. You can also get in touch with us on Twitter at left_pod, and also over on YouTube where you can catch a replay of the live show. If you've missed it, just search for Two Left Thumbs Podcast and you should see us pop up there. You can also find us at 9 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time every Tuesday night on Mixer at mixer.com/deft_puppies. Gents, thank you very much, Direct Gaming. Thank you again.
Thank you so much for having me.
For our third guest of the show. It was awesome. And with that, it's been our absolute pleasure to serve you. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
So.
Bye.